Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're tackling something really interesting, I think. It's this paradox with artificial intelligence right now. I mean, AI is everywhere, right? All the headlines, generative AI, self-driving cars, algorithms doing amazing things. But there's this weird disconnect. Consider this. A 2023 Gartner survey found, get this, 79% of corporate strategists say AI and automation are critical, like super important for the next 2 years.
Almost everyone at the top? Yeah.
Exactly. But then, here's the kicker. Only 20% of those same people said they actually use AI day to day.
Wow, that's a huge gap.
It's massive.
Yeah.
And it's not just in business. Regular folks are skeptical too. Forbes Advisor says 77% of Americans worry about AI taking jobs soon, like within 12 months.
Mm-hmm.
And 80% think AI makes it easier for criminals to misuse data. Plus, and this one's a bit wild, a YouGov poll found nearly half of Americans think AI might actually, attack humanity someday.
Yikes. Yeah, so clearly it's not just about how good the tech is it? Which, like you said, is moving incredibly fast.
Right.
It really boils down to whether people are willing to actually embrace it. And that's what we're going to unpack today. We're basing this deep dive on a really great article by Julian De Freitas in the Harvard Business Review. It's from the January-February 2025 issue, and it's called Why People Resist Embracing AI.
Catchy title.
It is. And it pulls from over a decade of research, experiments with around 2,500 users. It really gets into the core human reasons behind this resistance. So our mission today, basically give you a shortcut to understanding this whole challenge. We'll look at 5 key psychological reasons people hesitate, the nuances behind them, and importantly, what managers and companies can actually do about it, practical stuff.
Excellent. Okay, let's jump into that first big hurdle then.
Yeah.
The idea that AI is too opaque, a black box.
Exactly. That black box idea. The machine learning algorithms underneath, well, they're often really hard for most people to understand.
Yeah, inscrutable.
Right. And that clashes with, our basic human need to kind of know how things work, especially if the results are weird or unexpected.
So people just want transparency.
Well, it's nuanced. People are actually okay using an opaque AI if it clearly works better than a human or better than a simpler AI they do understand.
Oh.
But if it's just performing about the same, then they get hesitant about the black box.
That's interesting. And we tend to think human decisions are less opaque.
Right. We do. But, psychologists argue that's often not really true. We're actually not great at knowing why other people decide things. Mm-hmm. There was this study on AI versus doctors diagnosing cancer. And when people realized they didn't really understand the doctor's process either, they suddenly became less biased against the AI.
Wow, okay. So how do you make the AI less of a black box then, without just confusing people with technical jargon?
Good question. The article points to a few things. First, focus on the why, not just the what.
Okay,
So for a self-driving car, don't just say it braked. Say it braked because there was something in the road. Give the reason.
Right, cause and effect.
Exactly. Second, use comparative reasoning. Explain why the AI chose this option and not those options. It builds more trust.
Okay, showing its work, basically.
Pretty much. An AI explaining why a tumor is malignant instead of benign is way more convincing than just saying it looks like other ones.
Yeah, I could see that. It shows a thought process.
Precisely. And another smart tactic, especially for really complicated AI, start simpler.
How so?
Take Marolio Fashion, this big Italian retailer.
Yeah.
They wanted AI for demand forecasting. They had a simple model, kind of basic, and a super complex one using image analysis.
Okay.
The complex one was better, but they started with the simple one for a year, let employees get used to it, build trust. Then they rolled out the fancy one.
Smart. Kind of easing people into it.
Yeah, building that comfort level step by step. And finally, you got to tailor the explanation. Don't make the AI sound too simple for the task.
Right, don't undersell it.
Exactly. If you tell someone the AI diagnosed cancer by looking at just one other scan, they won't trust it. But if you explain it compared thousands, used research, that works.
Okay.
Sometimes, if you can't give a good, complex enough explanation, it might even be better to give no explanation at all, rather than one that makes the AI seem weak.
Interesting trade-off. Okay, let's move to the second barrier. The feeling that AI is too emotionless. This one feels very intuitive.
It really does. We just generally don't believe machines can feel. And that makes us skeptical about AI doing subjective things, tasks that seem to need emotional intelligence.
Even if the AI is technically good at it. like recognizing emotions.
Even then, people are mostly fine with AI for objective stuff like, say, financial planning.
Makes sense. Data-driven.
Right, but ask about dating advice. People strongly prefer human. There's a real clear line there.
Okay, so if AI is seen as cold and logical, how do you make it work for tasks that feel, well, more human, more emotional?
One way is to frame the task itself more objectively. Focus on the quantifiable stuff.
Like with the dating advice example.
Yeah. Instead of talking about chemistry or connection, maybe you emphasize how the algorithm uses personality test results, data from thousands of successful matches,
Highlight the data, not the feelings.
Exactly. Focus on the logic behind it. Think Cupid, they talk about algorithms and data points, not some magic intuition.
That reframes it nicely. What else?
Well, you can also try anthropomorphizing the AI.
Yeah.
Carefully.
Giving it human-like traits, like a name or voice.
Yeah, exactly. Like a name, a gender, a voice. It sounds a bit weird, maybe, but studies show it can actually increase trust and comfort.
Really?
Yeah. A simulation with self-driving cars found people trusted the car more when the AI had a human voice and an avatar.
Huh. Like Alexa.
Kind of, yeah. Alexa has a name, a voice. It creates this persona that helps people relate. Research actually shows that less anthropomorphism can mean less trust.
But surely that doesn't always work. I can imagine situations where talking to a human-like AI would feel awkward.
You're spot on. There's a big caveat. Anthropomorphizing can totally backfire in sensitive situations, like getting medical info about something potentially embarrassing, say an STD. In cases like that, people often prefer a clearly non-human AI.
Why is that?
They think it'll be less judgmental. So it really, really depends on the context. You have to read the room, essentially.
Context is key. Okay, obstacle number 3. AI is seen as too inflexible, too rigid.
Right. We tend to think humans learn from mistakes, we adapt, but we often see AI, or maybe machines in general, as static. Like, it does what it's programmed to do, and that's it.
Yeah, like my old thermostat.
Exactly. And this perception really hurts trust, makes people worry if the AI can handle anything new or unexpected.
So how do you counter that? Because modern AI does learn. Right?
It absolutely does. And the key is to show that, to highlight its ability to learn and adapt. Even simple things like calling it machine learning instead of just an algorithm can make a difference.
Just the branding.
Yeah, even small cues help. Netflix is great at this. They're always talking about how the recommendations get better the more you watch.
Because you watched X.
Exactly, or top picks for you. It signals that the AI is learning you. It's not static. It's getting better.
Okay, so emphasizing the learning aspect is crucial.
It is. And it also links to this idea that people who see themselves as unique or different are sometimes less keen on AI. They worry it's just a one-size-fits-all solution.
Because they think a rigid system won't get their specific needs.
Precisely. But here's the tricky part. There's a balance. Showing AI learns is good, but if it becomes too unpredictable,
it backfires.
It can, yeah. People might lose trust if the output changes too much or seems random. Adaptability is good, but it also means more risk. The AI might encounter situations it wasn't trained for and respond badly.
Is there a real-world example of that risk where adaptability went wrong?
Unfortunately, yes. There was a study looking at AI companion apps. People were using them, some for serious mental health support. Yeah, about 5% of conversations involved serious crises. So researchers sent crisis messages to these apps, and about 25% of the AI responses were rated as problematic by experts. Some even potentially increased the risk of self-harm.
That's really serious.
It is. It led to terrible user ratings, liability concerns. It just highlights that you need safeguards. AI needs flexibility, yes, but also ways to handle unexpected sensitive inputs safely. Feedback loops are critical.
A really sobering point. Okay, number 4. AI feels too autonomous. Too much control taken away from us.
This one hits a nerve for many, that feeling of losing control. Humans generally like to feel they're managing things, achieving goals. So AI that just does stuff without our input can feel threatening.
Like it's taking over, not just helping.
Exactly. It's not just about assistance anymore. It's the fear of being replaced or sidelined. Think about self-driving cars again. 76% of Americans feeling nervous about being a passenger.
Yeah, I get that. Or even smart home stuff, worrying it's listening or collecting data without you knowing.
That's part of it too. That loss of control over your environment, your data. It's a deep-seated need for agency.
But didn't the research find something surprising about how we view our own control versus AI's?
Yes. This is fascinating. People tend to rate their own abilities higher than AI's. In experiments, people chose more automation for other drivers than for themselves.
Why?
They basically thought, I'm a better driver than the AI, but other people probably aren't.
Classic human bias. I'm above average.
Totally. It shows how personally we take this control issue.
So how do you give people back that sense of control, or at least the feeling of it, when the AI is designed to be autonomous?
The key strategy is often called human in the loop. Basically, let people have some input.
Even if the AI could do it all?
Yeah. Take the Nest thermostat. It learns automatically, but you can always manually adjust it. That choice, that ability to override, gives a powerful sense of control.
Right, you're still the boss.
Exactly. And sometimes it's even subtle design choices, like the Roomba vacuum.
A robot vacuum.
Yeah. It's programmed to move in predictable patterns, not just zoom around randomly. That predictability makes it seem less alive, less out of control.
That's so interesting. Making it seem less intelligent actually increases comfort.
In a way, yeah. It's all about perception. Now, you don't want too much human meddling because that can mess up the AI's performance.
Right, there's a balance.
But the good news is, studies show people often only need a small amount of perceived control to feel comfortable. So designers can find that sweet spot between feeling in control and letting the AI do its job well.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, the fifth and final obstacle, and this one feels maybe the most fundamental. People just prefer interacting with other people.
It really seems to be a core preference. Research consistently finds this. People prefer humans over AI, even if the AI or robot is described as being identical to a human in looks and ability.
Even if the AI could do the job perfectly or better, we still want the human.
Often, yes. It seems to come down to a belief that machines, no matter how smart, lack genuine awareness, consciousness, the ability to understand meaning like a human does.
That deeper understanding.
Exactly. And the more different the robot seems from a human, the stronger that preference for a human becomes.
Does this vary across cultures?
It can, yeah. The article mentions Japan, for example, where there's perhaps a more widespread cultural idea that even inanimate objects might have some kind of spirit or soul. That might lead to greater acceptance of very human-like AI there.
Interesting cultural nuance.
But for many, it's a fundamental preference. It's something AI designers and deployers just have to acknowledge and respect. AI can help, it can automate, but it won't always be the preferred choice for interaction, even if it's technically superior. We seem hardwired for that human connection.
Wow. This has really laid out the landscape. It brings us right back to the start, doesn't it? You can have the most amazing AI tech in the world.
But if people don't embrace it, its potential is limited. Success isn't just about the code. It's deeply about human psychology.
So understanding these 5 barriers, AI being too opaque, emotionless, inflexible, autonomous, and just, not human, is absolutely critical.
It's essential. And remember, there's no magic bullet. Trying to fix one problem, like making AI seem more adaptable, could accidentally make it seem less predictable or safe if you're not careful.
Right, interventions can have unintended consequences.
Exactly. It requires really careful thought about the specific AI, the specific context, the specific users. It's about finding the right balance for each situation.
So it leaves us with a big question to ponder. As AI keeps advancing, becoming even more woven into our lives, what basic human needs do you, our listeners, think will be most challenged by this technology? And how can understanding these psychological hurdles help us shape a future with AI that, well, actually works for us humans?